Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Russell and Associates. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us. And as always, we have head coach Tom Sawyer to tell us about last week in Warrior football. It was Upper Iowa this past weekend. And I want to say, in the first quarter, to myself and Bob Ernest up in the booth, it just felt like something was kind of off. I mean, teams were trading possessions. There really wasn't a whole lot of offense going on in that first quarter. To us, it felt off. From your perspective, how did you feel in that first quarter?
Well, I felt fine. I thought it was just a matter of finishing a couple drives offensively, and the defense was already playing well too. And we got the first field goal we missed or got touched and blocked or whatever, and so if we turn those into touchdowns, then it's a runaway. And it's kind of been a little bit of the story of our season, but. There was no waiver of what was going to happen in the football game. I don't think we were waiting around to see what was going to happen. We just needed to finish a couple plays, and then once we did, then you saw it coming. You could feel the momentum. The offense got going. The pick six, the scoop and score. I mean, all of that stuff, and it turned into a really fun football day.
All right, tell us a little bit. You talked about the interception, Richard Azuna, and then you had the blocked extra point that gets returned for 2 points. Tell us about those plays and how you saw those develop.
Yeah, first of all, Richard, I mean, he was, they were running a lot of outs, and it's just kind of their game plan, the three-step game, and our defensive line, first of all, was on that kid's in his territory, in his bubble the whole game. So ball was coming out a little bit quicker throughout the game, and I just saw Richard broke on a ball just really nice and took it to the house, and he's a fast kid, so nobody was going to catch him. And then on the extra points or the blocked field goals, I guess it was a blocked extra point. We actually had two of them in the game, so we had a chance to do that twice, and they just couldn't bend over enough to pick up the first one. Again, kind of the fundamentals of doing the job, but the second one, Brian Corbin's was just in the right place, where he was supposed to be when that happens. Blocked it, one bounce right to him, and he took off. Now, he celebrated a little bit about the 11-yard line, so I started to panic a little bit that we weren't going to get the 2 points, but that was a big play, and it's, again, guys working hard, getting the job done, and then being able to scoop and score and then get points out of that is a huge deal. It wasn't that big of a deal in the overall game, but at the time it was a huge momentum gainer for us.
All right, let's talk about the different facets then and start with offense. And how did you feel the offense played this week?
Well, I think it was Owen's one of his best games that he played. It was the first time that he actually practiced without some apparatus on his foot in about a month. And I think that's, as we've all played sports our whole lives, when you have something else on you, a boot or a ankle bracelet or something going on, it throws you off and a little bit. And he overcame that, the last few games. But he was just playing himself. He was doing his thing. He was leading us. He was making changes. And all of that was him just doing his thing, and all the preparation that he goes through more than any other quarterback we've ever had. The work that he's putting in. It showed up on that day, and he was on fire. It was fun to watch.
All right, the running game, I mean, obviously you haven't had Sam Santiago Lloyd, you had Ty Gavin that was injured earlier in the season, but you had three healthy running backs in the game this past weekend. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to have those three guys back.
Yeah, well, all three of those guys could be the number one guy on any team in the league. I really believe that. Noah Carlson got the start for the first time. He's, has learned our offense. He's a track guy, so it really is a little bit different for him, going back to his high school days at Rushford being a running back, but he's now not a liability in the pass game where he can pass protect, and that was a big part of it. You saw the kind of skill he has, and he's got a bunch of years left. So when he scored that touchdown, you saw him make somebody miss, somebody bounced off him, then he just hit the go gear and he was gone. Dominic London's been doing it for a few weeks. He played really well, but it was also really nice to get Javian Roebuck back. He's as hard a worker as we have on the football team. And he's a senior, and it was fun for him. And he's been nursing an ankle sprain here the last 2-3 weeks as well. So it was good to see him in there. Got him back in the end zone. So we had 2 touchdowns from the running back position. So, it was fun.
Wide receiver core, again, double-digit receivers caught passes this week. Talk about those guys as well.
Well, I think that's, Owen does such a great job reading the defenses and understanding, the defense tells us where to throw the football. A lot of people say, well, let's pick out a guy and throw it to him. Now, we do that every once in a while, but we even had a couple drops, and we almost had a perfect day, throwing the football. In fact, Jake Blue dropped one, and we were like, okay, Jake Blue dropped one? I mean, because he just doesn't do that. So, but yeah, overall, when you can throw the ball to 7 or 8 different receivers, it's really difficult for the defense to have to cover the whole field.
You talk about Jake Blue, and there was that one kick return where he's looking at the sun, and I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to, especially in the return game like that. block out the sun, see what's coming after you, make the catch, and tell us what happened in that play.
Yeah, it's, he's been back there more than anybody, I think, in history. He's been back there for 10 years, it seems like. But it was a brutal sun. I mean, that's part of it. But I'm always one of those, I grew up playing baseball. You can deal with it. If you put your glove in the sun and it hits you in the face, you have your glove in front of it, you catch the ball. I mean, I think that's my dad talking. But it is very difficult. Then he got a bad bounce, and it bounced off him, and he muffed the ball, and they recovered. So that was a tough situation for us. But I'll take him for another 10 years if we could figure out a way to do it. But he's the best we've ever had there. Going back to Kevin Curtin. Now here's Jake Blue of the two that I've seen, and so we'll let him keep kicking it to him this week.
All right, let's talk a little bit about defense then. And one name I want to bring up is John Schmidt. We haven't really called his name a whole lot, and here he is, kind of shining this week.
Yeah, he's really playing better. He's another transfer kid in that came from Zach Barton. You remember Zach over at Kent State, and sent him over to us, and he's been in a backup role throughout the year. He's went through a shoulder issue that he had. And now he's enough playing time where you start getting more comfortable with the calls and what we're doing. So he and Mitch Snitker back there have really been doing a nice job. So we're putting him in situations where he can be successful. And if he just does what he's taught and does that, now you see the result. And so he had a great game for us back there, batting a couple balls down and making some tackles, and we're excited for him.
And then one of the guests today, Cole Liberty, another great game from him this week.
Yeah, like I walked in here today and I asked him if he was playing fullback for them because he was in the backfield more than that guy was. But unbelievable. He's been that way all year, but it kind of shined even brighter this week. I mean, if you look at his stat line, tackles for losses and sacks and hits on the quarterback, all those kind of things, I mean, that's what an All-American looks like.
And then talk about that front line, even the defense in general, because I think Upper Iowa was held to like maybe 25 yards rushing during the game.
Yeah, I think we're third in the league in rushing defense, and that showed. Not hardly anybody's been able to run the ball on us very much, and due to those guys when they're healthy up there, Corey King and him and Darius Manuel and Joe Perhatz got back on the field again today, and of course Ducky just being Ducky, all that stuff, and then you got the linebacker core who's really good. So you look at that front seven, it's pretty menacing, and when those guys are healthy, and right now they are. So really looking forward to watching them one more time.
All right, and then one more thing that I have to bring up, because we bring it up every week, is penalties, and we usually bring it up in a negative light. But this week, I think it was like the third quarter before a penalty was thrown against you guys.
Yeah, and two of them were bad calls. So, and I could be loose with that because I'm done here this week anyway. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we only had 3 penalties on the day, and when our guys do things right and really just play within their job, we're as good as anybody in the league, and I think that was an example of that. You got to know how the officials are going to call it, and this official crew lets things go a little bit more, which I like. Just let kids play, and they'll determine the football game. But you saw that it was much more disciplined. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any big penalties, and our guys really played to their job, and that's what's most important in a team sport.
All right, and again, it was a win for Winona State over Upper Iowa, 40-12. We'll take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll get the player perspective. We'll start with Owen Burke right after this.
Meet Jenny Siseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Siseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
Food, shelter, fast internet. It's all we really need. Good thing HBC has the fast, reliable internet it takes to power all the Wi-Fi hungry gadgets in your home, all at once. With speeds like these, get smooth HD streaming video, gaming, music, and surfing, all with no waiting, no buffering, no kidding. You want it. You need it. Get it. Call or click hbci.com and upgrade your internet today.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. We're going to talk offense now with Owen Burke, and thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.
You heard what Coach said about your performance this week. I think 23 of 29 on the day, and maybe one of your best games. Your thoughts on how the Upper Iowa game went?
Yeah, you know, the offense started off a little slow, just not finishing drives, but once we kind of got in that rhythm, defense kind of got some momentum for us, and then we just tried to hold on to that. And overall, the O-line, receivers, running backs played pretty well, yes.
All right, I got to ask you to reflect on your career, because this is probably one of the last times that I'll get to talk to you. You're one of only 3 Winona State quarterbacks to pass over 7,000 yards in their career, and you're pretty close to second place. You need 348 yards this week against Minnesota State. Tall order, but you know, if anybody can do it, you can do it. Talk about that, and you know, being up in the record book like that. What does that mean to you at this point? Has that had a chance to kind of settle in?
I don't really look at stats much, but kind of the last couple weeks, people have been mentioning that kind of stuff, and obviously, you know, it's a cool accomplishment. I would say it makes me feel good that maybe my hard work's paying off, but overall, I'm usually more focused on kind of the stats in the win or loss column.
You know, I'll go back to, I'm going to switch gears a little bit out of statistics and talk about the other thing you do, and that's being a captain of this football team 3 years in a row. What does that mean to you first, and what kind of legacy do you feel that you've left here in the leadership area?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Just shows that, you know, something that I've done either on or off the field, that guys see me as somebody that they want to represent our program. I think that comes a lot learning from you, Coach Keller. Coaches have taught me, you know, the importance of what it's like to do on and off the field. So as a legacy, you know, I think all the captains agree that, you know, we just want to pass down traits, characteristics, those kind of things that can keep moving the program forward.
Now, I don't know if you have a key for it, but you spend a lot of time in my office right next door to my conference. You've kind of taken that over as Owen Burke's office. Tell the folks a little bit about what goes on in there, because you've had not only you in there watching film, but you bring other kids in, and who is that and why do you do it?
Yeah, that's just something I've been trying to do more this year, putting the time in and see hopefully we can get more time out of that. It was kind of the mindset with that. You know, usually just Mondays just watch kind of the full game in general against the defense. Tuesdays focus on third downs, Wednesdays red zone, and then Thursdays kind of blitz pickups, those kind of things. Yeah,
and the last thing I have for you is, you know, as you're finishing up your career, like Justin said, but you know, I don't remember a game when your parents haven't been to, and I know they're here for a 2-week stay here. What's that like, being from Denver and really, you know, taking Winona as your home when your parents are here as much? I feel like they're residents here. What's that been like for your whole family?
Yeah, I've been absolutely blessed beyond measures with that. You know, they fly out to every single game. A couple games, the flights got canceled, so they jumped in the car and drove 13 hours. So, yeah, just knowing that they've been able to see me all my games since I was in second grade till now is something I'm very, very grateful for.
Awesome.
So what has football meant to you, and what is it like going into your last game this weekend?
It's a loaded question. I mean, football's meant the world to me. Just so many ups and downs throughout my career. It's taught me so many things about myself, about life lessons on and off the field. I feel like for most guys who play college football, you know, it becomes your identity and those kind of things. But, you know, overall, football has just been such a blessing in my life, and something that, you know, I'll be grateful for forever.
All right, last question I have then. What's next for Owen Burke, and does football have a part in your future?
I'm not sure. You know, I'm just trying to focus on this last week and take it all in with my friends and my coaches, my family. So we will see what's next. But I have thought about maybe going into coaching maybe later down the road. But other than that, just trying to enjoy this last week.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in today. Thank you for everything that you've done over your career for us here at HBC, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Cole of Liberty will join us right after this.
Meet Jenny Soseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Soseski at Edina Realty today. 507-458-7038.
Have you seen the new Fox Sports app? Check this out. It's been designed so you can easily find everything that's important to you. You get all the top stories and scores, and then you tap here and boom, you're watching sports live on Fox. You can also follow your favorite teams and players and get all the latest news and social updates. There are even bonus cameras. It's got everything. The all-new Fox Sports app. Get it? Use it. You'll love it.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. Time now to talk defense with Cole of Liberty. You heard what we said in the first segment about your game this past week. 7 total tackles, 3.5 for a loss. Reflect a little bit on Upper Iowa this past weekend.
Well, it was a great game collectively as an entire group. As a defensive line particularly, everybody was doing their job. We were all having fun. There was really no pressure. We were just out there to have a good time and enjoy these last couple of weeks that we had with each other. That was my big message to the guys. I just said, these next 2 weeks, I just want to enjoy my time with you guys because I'll be done and I won't get to play with you guys. And let's just have a great time. And who really cares about what happens after that,
What does it mean to you and to you guys to be able to hold a team, like I said, Upper Iowa had only like 25 yards rushing, to be able to kind of dominate in a game like that?
Well, as a defensive line, that's one of the first things that we look at after a game is how much they've ran the ball against us. And we take a lot of pride in holding teams making teams one-dimensional. If we have to force them to throw the ball, that means we're doing our job in one sense, and that just opens the door for us to get after the quarterback all game long, which we did as a group on Saturday. So.
Okay.
I want to take it back because I always make fun of you 7-year guys about being here like 10 years, but you've been coming to Winona for 10 years. Let's take it back to what kind of influence did it have with your head coach, Billy Knickerbocker, who played for us, and coming to summer camps, and here you are, in your 7th fall. What's that whole thing been like when you first stepped foot on campus?
Well, first of all, I didn't really even know until my freshman or sophomore year of high school that my high school coach went here. We never really talked about it, but we started coming to the team camps, and I just, you get that feeling whenever you go to the college that, that's right for you. You just kind of know that this is where I want to be. And when I first came here, I fell in love with the coaching staff, the coaches that were here, and I just loved the intensity that they brought to even the team camps. Like I felt like I was being coached when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, like I am being coached now, and that really meant a lot to me. And I just loved the community and I loved the area, and yeah, it was great. And having Coach Sawyer be from Barron, that was a foot in the door already. So that's 15
15
awesome.
miles apart.
Yeah,
now we're together forever.
Exactly, absolutely.
Another question I have for you, kind of in your leadership role, like I asked Owen too, but you're not the loudest guy. You're not that jumping up and down guy. You're a hard-working guy. How do you think that has an effect on other people, younger guys like Luke and Darius and those guys, when they watch you work? What kind of effect is that going to have?
I guess I've always kind of thought that I was more of a lead by example type of a guy. I'm not, like you said, I'm not a you-rah-rah guy or anything like that. But I always just want people to look at me and say that's the guy that does it the right way. Like that is a good model or example for me or for a younger guy to look to, and that's really just been my goal. I just want to do things the right way, not just for myself but for the entire team. Set a good example for everybody.
Absolutely.
All right, same question I asked Owen. We reflected at the beginning of the year when you came in on the show about your decision to come back for another year and what football has been like, but You've been able to play every game. What has football meant to you, and what have your years at Winona State meant to you?
Well, it's meant everything to me, just like what Owen said. But football has taught me so much, much more than you would think. It taught me how to trust people, because part of football is being able to trust the guy next to you more than you honestly trust yourself. It has brought my family here. This is like a second home to them. So everything in my life is owed to football, and I will forever be grateful. The relationships that I have made here in Winona will be with me for the rest of my life, and it just means everything to me.
The last thing I have for you is playing Mankato. It's a rival, all that kind of stuff, and it's fun for us. What's the team perspective, and can we hold it down long enough to get to Saturday, or what are you looking forward to most?
Well, it's not hard to get up for Mankato week. That's every year that I've been here, it's got to beat Mankato, got to beat Mankato. And personally, through marriage, my family's related to the Mankato head coach. So I want to beat them just as bad every single year, just for bragging rights when I go home.
Sure.
But no, it's a great rivalry, and I hope when I'm gone it'll continue. But I think it's going to be easy to get up to this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in this week, and all the years that you've spent here at Winona State. Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and you heard it. It's Mankato week this week. We'll talk about that game coming up right after this.
Meet Jenny Siseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Siseski at Edina Realty today. 507-458-7038.
The days of classic pro wrestling, you can relive them right here with Classic All-Star Wrestling, featuring wrestling from the 50s to the 90s, the 4 top decades in the history of professional wrestling, from Gorgeous George to New Jack. It's all right here. Classic All-Star Wrestling. Fans are not going to want to miss it. Terry Funk, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Jerry the King Lawler, and more.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Russell and Associates. And it just occurred to me that that's the last time that I'm going to get to say that because after all these years, this is the last Tom Sawyer Show. I want to thank you to start for everything that you've done for us here at HBC, the access that you've given us, the willingness to do whatever it is that we want to do. A couple years ago, we had all the people try to guess what was in the box, and we had people with headphones trying to read people's lips, and you allowed me to come to practice one day, sure. Which is crazy on the outset. I know that it was crazy for our HR department to have to figure out, is he covered for insurance if anything happens with this? But the fact that you let us do that was amazing, and so I want to say thank you for that. And then this show. What has this meant to you to be able to come in, bring your players in, talk about the football game, and kind of wrap things up from the week?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for saying that. It's both ways. It's an opportunity, and I've always looked at it this way, is for those students, players, to be able to sit in that chair, get in front of the lights and the camera, is a great opportunity for them in their growth as a student athlete. They think it's cool. It is. It's big time, and I always want them to feel like we're doing everything we can to help promote them and our product. The other part is I've always really enjoyed just the fact that this is our outlet. You are who we are. And so when HBC is talking good, bad, or indifferent with our program, it's who we are. So the general public gets an opportunity to see Warrior football and to see the kind of people that we have, whether it's coaches or on the field and the special projects that you've done with our players. I think when you have a team, a college football team of 123 players and 10 coaches, we have a lot of cool stories, and you've been our voice for that for over 20 years. So again, I thank you as well.
All right, thank you for that. So it's Mankato week.
Yeah.
And it's your last time going out there. I know I saw a post on social media of you out on the field just kind of staring off into the distance and say, oh, you know, it's kind of real now that this is the last times that we're going to do these types of things. How do you head into this game? Is it any different than, say, week 1 of this season?
Yeah, I'd like to say it's not any different because our preparation is the same. You know, we were in yesterday working on Mankato film and reviewing our last game. I mean, so the day routine is the same, but mentally it's different. I know that every one of these things is my last, you know, and so if I let it eat at me, you know, it crushes me because, you know, we've done so many cool things over the years. But the game is what's important. That's what I get paid to do is coach football, and I love doing that. And so it's Saturday at 1 o'clock. I'm sure it'll hit me pretty hard that this is the last one. But at that point, you know, the national anthem will go up and it's, you know, game on. And it'll be just like every other time we've ever played Mankato, which is always a great rivalry, and they have a great football team. And it's fun for us to go out in this kind of a way, win, lose, or draw. I think that you'll see a great performance by our guys on Saturday.
All right, let's talk about this Mankato team this year because they've been up and down really as to the same as the Warriors have been. I think Minnesota State was ranked number 2 in the nation coming into the season, and they suffered some losses, but then they also blow out Southwest last week. So how hard is it to kind of prepare for a team up and down? You don't really know what's going to be coming in.
Well, I think they're probably doing the same thing we are. They're saying if we do things right, then we can beat anybody. They've lost 3 of their 4 games to the same people we lost to, and so we've had similar seasons. They've had some roster changes, and you know, from the time when they were number 2 in the country, it really was from when they went to the national championship game a couple years ago against West Florida. So that's how the rankings started. If you look at their roster, it's a lot different than when we played them in 2019. They brought in a lot of transfer kids. We brought in a few. They brought in a bunch. And so their roster's a lot different. So it's been fun for us tracking throughout the year here kind of who these new players are. They have some St. Cloud transfers. They have some kids from UConn and, you know, all over the place. So it's been hard I think, for them to gel together as well as us to get a beat on them. But we do know they have the quarterback that's been there a long time, and JD's a good quarterback, and we're looking forward to, you know, playing against him one more time. And you know, they have some stars on that football team, so it's fun for our guys to prepare against that as well.
All right, health-wise, how are you coming into the game? As we said, you've had a couple guys that were banged up. You had a couple of injuries this week against Upper Iowa, but coming into Mankato, how are you health-wise?
Yeah, we have all our starters back. Still, the only guy we don't have is Cam Gavin. He's still not back. You know, he broke some ribs here a couple weeks ago, and so he just, you know, that's, you know, the worst injury there is just about. But we did lose a couple kids last week to a knee injury and a fracture. And so, but those kids were backup kids, but they're still an integral part of our team. They're on the field, and that means they're important, of course. So they'll be in surgery here this week, so we hope for them to have a speedy recovery. But the core is back, and it's fun playing at home. You got all your guys there, and we'll be playing for our seniors. It's our senior recognition day. So like these 2 guys, I think we have 14 total, including Haley, our manager. So it's a time to reflect, a time to say thank you to our seniors and go play a great football game.
All right, and then one more luncheon this week?
Yeah, our last luncheon too this week. I'll have these 2 guys here plus Jake Blue, and I'm not sure who the other one is. Devon as well. So we'll have those 4 guys at the luncheon at noon at Riverport on Thursday. So looking forward to that one as well.
All right, again, thank you for everything, and good luck this week against Mankato.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for watching all these years, and we're going to wrap up the Tom Sawyer Show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.